What's up, Book? The nose doesn't look that bad, man. It's coming along, man.
Appreciate that.
No doubt, dude. Hey, listen, man, I want to know what you learned about your teammates during that cold stretch, man. It was like 5 minutes. You couldn't get a bucket. You were stuck on 71. What did you learn about your teammates during that time?
Well, we've been preaching all year. We have to rely on our defense. So, I think both teams are stuck at 70 and 71 for, a few minutes. I think we got a good couple opportunities. A lot of them rimmed in and rimmed out. But, you just get back and you play defense. You don't let your offense affect the way, that you guard. So that's what we relied on all night. I think it was an ugly game from beginning to end, honestly, if you're talking from a scoring aspect. But, we dug in and got stops, and it's the playoffs. Any way you can come out with one.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Rachel Nichols.
Hey, Devin, when did you decide you were going to ditch the mask?
I think I took it off after I missed the layup. I said after the game, if I get hit again, which you don't realize how much you get hit in the face until you take it off, that, I can get surgery after the season. And, I'm not blaming anything on the mask, but, I haven't played basketball with the mask ever in my life. So, it takes some getting used to. And, at that point in that time, I didn't want it.
Lastly, I just wanted to ask you, sitting there watching the end of that game, what would that had to be tough?
Yeah, tough, because I know I let my team down in some aspects of grabbing some pretty cheap fouls early in the game. And, you're not thinking about that early in the game, how it can affect the end. So, it's a learning lesson for me. And it's easier to learn after a win. So, go back, watch some film, and just clean up the little mistakes because, if you want to win big, how we're trying to, I got to be out there for my team.
Next is Rachel Nichols with ESPN, and then Dave McMenamin.
Chris Paul, as you know, just called you the oldest 24-year-old he's ever met. I think that's a compliment. I'm not entirely sure. What do you think it is about you, the way you grew up, the way you have spent these last 6 years in the league that has made you an old soul, as you put it?
I'll say just experiences. And like you said, just the way I grew up, having an older brother, wanting to hang out with him and his friends all the time. And then I moved to Mississippi with my dad, and I'm with him and his friends all the time. And those are the environments I've just been in. Those are the gyms I've been in. And, it's always been their own conversation. So even when I spent time with them guys, I listen more than I talk. So I just pick up the way people carry themselves. And, I was around some really good people growing up that, they nurtured me and taught me a lot.
Do you not intend to wear the mask then the rest of the way here?
I don't know. I haven't decided. Like I said, you don't realize how much you get hit in the face till you take it off. So, I might have to go back to it. But, at that time, in that place, I didn't want it on.
Next is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Gina Mizell.
I'm sure for yourself, being one win away from the house, is there any sense as a group for this opportunity for Chris?
Of course.
You verbalize what that means for the group, maybe 16 years in, probably giving this chance to get on the stage.
Yeah, like Chris said, I watch every game, and that was before I was in the NBA. So I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I've learned so much from him this year. And I always talk about off the court how he carries himself, and he's just a true professional, at every level, at all times. So I have a lot of respect for him as a man, not even as a basketball player, and just understanding how bad he wants this and how much time he's put into it. Like you said, 16 years, that's a long time. I think when we made the Western Conference Finals, he was like, I've only been here one time. So we know how bad he wants it. Same with Coach Monty. I get that same feeling from him. And me and DeAndre are sitting here. Mikhail, it's our first time in here. It's a little spoiled, but it came with a lot of work. But we definitely have his back.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Cameron Cox.
Kind of a broader question for you. You've mentioned a couple times during the playoffs how during the summer you tried to simulate what this was going to feel like and try to just mimic or put yourself in the right mindset or visualize. Like, that seems way easier said than done. So, how did you do that? And how do you feel like it's paying off, now?
Just imagination, you know, while you're out there by yourself, you know, obviously you can't mimic the crowd or everything that's going on, but, you know, you like a kid again, you know, you just imagine yourself in those situations, you know. You look up at the shot clock, you know, you pretend it's winding down. So it's just little things that, you know, that's how you get the most out of your workouts. So me and my dad talk about all the time is being efficient with your work. And when you're in there taking every rep serious as if it is the playoffs or as it is the finals, you know, you get some really good work in.
Does it feel like it is paying off? You're like, okay, even though I am in this situation for the first time, it feels familiar in a weird way?
Yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, it's basketball, and I've watched a ton of playoffs, but like I said, you can't mimic the crowd, the atmosphere, can't mimic picking up your sixth foul.
Right.
That's frustrating, but you know, as far as the game, yeah.
Or having to like set a screen with a broken nose.
Exactly.
Next up is Cameron Cox with 12 News, followed by Ramona Shelburne.
Hey, Book, you guys are one win away, obviously, from going to play for an NBA title. Do you let your mind go there just yet, or what's the thought process after this one?
I mean, we know what's on the table. We know it's there. You know, we can't hide that. But, you know, we've kept the same mindset the whole playoffs and the whole regular season, honestly, is building this thing brick by brick, game by game. So, you know, we're not looking too far ahead or saying who we're going to get in the finals or anything like that. But we definitely understand that, you know, if we win the next one, we're headed to the NBA Finals.
Next is Ramona Shelburne with ESPN, followed by Melissa Rowland.
Hey, I was talking to Tyson Chandler, and he was saying when you first came in the league, you were always asking him, what's it like in the finals? What's it like getting the conference finals? Do you remember any of the advice he gave you, and sort of does any of it come back around to you?
Oh, yeah, I asked Tyson more than that. I asked pretty much anything. I asked him about the Olympics also. You know, I always credit my veterans. You know, people talk about my situation that, you know, I was in and how it was unfair to me, but, you know, I always see the bright side in it, and, you know, being able to develop a relationship with somebody like Tyson that, you know, has accomplished everything that I want to do in this league. So I always leaned on him, you know, and I still do. You know, that relationship's here forever. But, you know, he's also Chris in that way in their approach. You know, they don't get happy, you know, over the little things. They're in it to win big, and that's the only thing that they want. But he says once you get a taste of it, you know, there's nothing else that you're going to want in the world. So trying to get there.
Next is Melissa Rowland with Fox Sports, followed by Kellen Olson.
Hey, what was your reaction when you showed up today and you saw DA wearing a shirt emblazoned with a photo of your face after you suffered the broken nose? What did that mean to you?
I honestly didn't see it till I seen her on social media. I was on the same bus with him. I looked at him once I seen it. I was like, oh, that's hard. He was like, I was hiding it from you on the bus. I was sitting like this. So obviously, you know, it's like a replica of Steve's moment. You know, so that means a lot, man. That's my little big brother. You know, we have a relationship that's bigger in basketball, and, you know, it's taken time to develop it. And, you know, I'm so proud of him and the strides that he's taken. And, you know, for him to honor me in that way, you know, that's love for real.
Next up is final three questions. They're going to start with Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, and then Jovan Buha.
Hey, Book, to go off Gina's question and like that mental preparation, Lonnie mentioned earlier in the week, physical preparation for you too, just the setup you have at your house. I imagine this was the stage of the season you were thinking about all the way back last summer when you're just preparing your body. How do you feel physically right now that's deep in your first postseason run?
I feel good, you know, honestly. And, you know, it does. It's time consuming, you know, taking care of your body. I have a whole routine and operation at my house with infrared sauna, light stem bed, so a whole bunch of things. And, you know, David Crew on our training staff, you know, we put a lot of time in. I tell him all the time, I talk to you and see you more than I see my mom. So, you know, we're always together, and, you know, he's on the same page as us. He understands how important our health is, and you know, he puts in the extra time, and, you know, he spends a lot of time working on me.
Final two questions are Jovan Buha with The Athletic and Mark Medina.
Hey, Book. DeAndre had 9 offensive rebounds tonight, and Monty was saying that he's one of the best he's ever seen at just going straight up over guys and not fouling. We're back. So I guess how important was that for you guys in a game that you did shoot 36% overall and then kind of just winning the margins like that with his hustle and effort?
Yeah, that's his nickname, dominating. He definitely earned that tonight. In many ways, and I heard Chris tell you guys about shoot around, just how animated he was and saying, "This is my paint. I'm protecting it tonight." And doing that on both ends. I know, how it makes the team feel when you give up offensive rebound. I think we gave up 7 in the first quarter. Those aren't easy plays for a team when you guard a whole possession and the team gets a second chance basket, and it's hard to keep him off there. His stature, his build, and just his motor. He works, and I say it all the time. I think he's finally realizing how big and strong and how agile and he can move, and it's paid off big for him and us.
Final question is Mark Medina with USA Today.
Build off of that about Andrew. Obviously, he had that huge lob the other night, but what other kind of pivot points have you seen in him that showed, hey, he's putting his game to another level?
Oh, dude, everything. He's brought to a whole nother level this playoffs, from angles of screening to understanding the game, not understanding just who his matchup is, who we're guarding, and what they like to do. You're going to see a lot of pick and rolls at him, every single game. That's just the offense of the NBA, and, just understanding tendencies of different players, of not the ones that he's guarding. And, that usually takes a few years. So him to grow up on the fly in this short amount of time is, very impressive. But, you see him putting the time in off the work. I mean, off the floor. I don't know how much basketball he watched prior, but, he comes up to me about every game now, and conversations that we didn't have in the past. So I know he's tuned in. I know, he's focused. And like Chris said earlier, Monty's so detail-oriented that, you have to be like that. And understanding that little plays and understanding what people like to do can, make or break a game. So, that's really impressive with him.
Appreciate the time, Buck.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks.